to the channel, Biblical Truth Central. I thought I would share some other news because we're all so focused on this COVID-19 coronavirus that has just taken the world by storm, and we're just completely forgetting about other events that are taking place in this world that do deserve some attention as well. I actually reported on this about a month ago, and it's about the really big swarms of locusts that are invading Africa, preferably East Africa, and they are wreaking havoc all over the continent. And I'm looking at this story here by The Guardian, and it was published, let's see, it was published today, actually, on the 13th of April. And it says here, second wave of locusts in East Africa said to be 20 times worse than the previous. This is extremely serious, people. Very serious, because where do you think the locusts are gonna go when they've eaten up everything there is to eat up as far as crops in Africa? And they're not saying it's gonna be 2 times its worth. They're saying it's gonna be 20 times worse. It says the UN warns alarming and unprecedented threats to food security and livelihood in the region. So let's go down here and we'll read a little bit of this story. A second wave of desert locusts is threatening East Africa, with estimates that will be 20 times worse than the plague that descended 2 months ago. So they're calling this a plague, and the scriptures tell us that in the last days there will be pestilences, earthquakes, and famines. And a plague like this with locusts has the potential to cause a famine. The locust presents an extremely alarming and unprecedented threat to the food security and livelihoods, according to the UN. A swarm of just more than a third of a square mile can eat the same amount of food in one day as 35,000 people. Oh my gosh. This is, like I said, people, this is extremely serious. This is not something that people need to be sweeping under the rug, because this has the potential to come to a continent near you. You know what I'm saying? Like, this could go to Asia. This could go to China. This could come to the United States. This is something that we really need to be paying attention to, because remember, at first, when the coronavirus first came about, people weren't paying attention to it in America. And a month and a half later, it's America's problem now. So these are the type of stories we need to be paying attention to. In the latest Locust Watch update, the UN says the situation is extremely alarming and is increasing numbers of new swarms from the north and central Kenya, Ethiopia, and Somalia. Wow, look at that. Look at this. Those locusts are about as big as your pointer, your finger. Uganda reported 2 swarms arriving last week from a neighboring Kenya, furthering destabilizing food security and livelihoods of people in the east and north of the country. The insects follow spring rains, seeking merging crops and other vegetation. Helena Ada, Minister of Uganda Agriculture Department, says this is very active, destructive, and we're worried that it has come to the time of lockdown. We are a bit overwhelmed. I don't really know what the coronavirus is doing over in Africa, but they're dealing with their own problems right now. The moment they arrive in the place, the first thing they do is eat everything green. They have destroyed some fields of crops and vegetation, she said. Kenya officials have said coronavirus crackdowns have slowed efforts to fight the infestation. So they are dealing with the coronavirus over there. Crossing borders becomes harder and pesticide deliveries are held up. Aerial sprays is only effective, meaning controlling locusts, but have been complaints that the pesticides affecting livestock. In February, 8 East African countries experienced the worst outbreak in 70 years, exacerbated by the climate change and the war in Yemen. The insects can travel about 90 miles a day and eat their own body weight in crops. These locusts ain't nothing to play with, folks. They're nothing to play with. Heavy rains in late March established favorable breeding conditions for yet another generation of locusts in the Horn of Africa. These will emerge as young swarms in June, just as many farmers start to harvest, said Antonio Cortillo in the UN's Food and Agriculture Agency in Uganda. By now, most farmers have planted the first season of annual crops. If the locust swarms persist and control operations are not effectively undertaken, the food crops will be lost and the agricultural-based livelihoods will be impacted among them. This is serious. Immature swarms are the most ferocious stage of locust developments. They are aggressive feeders and as such can cause a lot of damage to crops and forage. Christine Aplot, the chairman of Uganda's Kuman district, which was hit by the swarm last week, said people were in full despair, having already endured the flooding and the previous swarms. This is seriously going to bring food insecurity. It is fear we have at our right hand now. As we are hopeful to receive some relief to food support the situation on the ground, the locusts invade the COVID-19 lockdown is moving towards devastating the economy. We expect government numbers of partners and World Food Program to come to the rescue with food relief. Otherwise, our people will end starvation. This is just some other stuff here that has nothing to do with this, I don't believe. Okay, so folks, Africa is dealing with both COVID-19 and this outbreak right here of locusts. So they're really getting hit extremely hard. Not only is their economy in danger due to shutting down because of COVID-19, they could be crippled and not able to get back up, especially if these locusts take out all of the crops. Could you just imagine something like that coming to America? Folks, I keep telling people over and over that what you once knew as being normal is no longer going to be normal. Normal is over with. We are stepping into a brand new world. We are stepping into a new age. We are stepping into a season that is going to change the face of the world. And things like this are going to become a lot more frequent around the world. You can hide under your blankets. You can cover your eyes. You can cover your ears. You don't have to believe it. But the fact is, these things are happening. And they're going to continue to happen whether you like it or not. These things are inevitable. These are the things that the Lord said were going to come to pass in the last days before his coming. We need to be taking this serious, people. Just because it hasn't hit home front yet doesn't mean that it won't. Nobody thought that COVID-19 would hit home, but it did. We all thought that was just something that was going to stay in Wuhan, but it made its way to every state in America. In fact, it made its way around the entire world. 20 times worse, a locust swarm. Eventually, they're not going to have anything else to eat over there, and they're going to go to the next continent searching for food. And who knows which one of those continents it's going to be. This is not going to go away. I have a feeling that once COVID-19 kind of dies down a little bit, this may be the next thing that most of us have to deal with. You know, let's not dismiss this. This is serious. This is in the news. This is an update from today on The Guardian. This is something that has been occurring for many months now, but the media is not talking about this. They're talking only about the coronavirus. They're not talking about this, but this is something that we need to be concerned about. Again, don't worry. Especially if you're in Christ, do not worry. Keep your trust in the Lord and have confidence in Him to take care of you, and He will do that. God is faithful all the time, every time. These are the signs that the Lord warned us about. So we should already be prepared, and we should already know that it was coming. So let Him work on your heart, and let's be obedient to Him in these last days. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for watching. Consider subscribing. Give the video a like, and I'll see you in the next video.